Every evening he followed the same route, delivered the same hot pizzas, rang doorbells with the same kind smile. Jake had been doing delivery for Hometown Pizza for 3 years. Customers knew him only as the pizza guy, reliable, on time, no problems. Until that night came and changed everything. Until everyone learned that Jake's hands didn't just carry pizza boxes with perfect precision, but much more dangerous things as well. Every story you're about to hear was earned, not given. Welcome to Earned Stories. Tell us in the comments which city you're watching from, and if you believe stories of invisible heroes like Jake deserve to be told, don't forget to subscribe. Jake Morrison was 35 years old, medium height, with short brown hair showing hints of gray at the temples. He used Hometown Pizza's delivery car to carry pizzas to every corner of the city. His red Honda Civic, with the pizza logo on top, roamed the streets every evening from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Customers loved Jake. His pizzas always arrived hot. He never got the wrong address, and he always smiled. "Jake's here," children would call from behind the door. He was family's favorite delivery man. Pizza shop owner Mario was also very happy with Jake. In 3 years, he'd never received a single complaint, never had an accident. Customer satisfaction was 100%. "Jake is my best employee," Mario would say. "Reliable, fast, no problems." But no one questioned why Jake chose this job. Why was a 35-year-old experienced man doing pizza delivery? When these questions came up, Jake would smile and say, "I love pizza delivery. I get to meet people." Simple, sincere answers. No one asked further questions. In Jake's small apartment was a room, always locked. Inside were old photographs, documents, pieces of uniform. None of them belonged to Jake Morrison, pizza delivery man. They all belonged to Petty Officer Jake Morrison, U.S. Navy SEALs. 12 years ago, Jake had lived a very different life. He was a special operations specialist in the Navy SEALs. Afghanistan, Somalia, classified missions. He served in Team 6, conducting operations in the world's most dangerous places. His teammates called him Ghost Walker. He could reach targets without making a sound, complete the mission, and disappear. Returning to normal life after retirement had been difficult. PTSD, sleep disorders, problems adjusting to civilian life. Doctors had recommended calm work, told him to stay away from stress. Pizza delivery had seemed like the perfect choice, routine, predictable, peaceful. For 3 years, his mask had been perfect. No one suspected Jake's past. Everyone saw him only as the nice pizza guy. But that Friday night, the mask would come off. It was 9:30 p.m. Jake was making his last delivery. 47 Maple Street, big house, wealthy neighborhood, customer family, John and Sarah Williams, 8-year-old Tommy, 5-year-old Emma. They were regular customers. Jake knew them well. When he reached the door, he noticed something strange. The house lights were on, but the curtains were drawn. Normally at this hour, the lights would be on, and the children would be looking out the windows. Tonight, there was silence. Jake rang the bell. A voice came from inside. "Leave it at the door. Put the money underneath." This wasn't normal. The Williams family always opened the door and chatted. They knew Jake. The children would wave hello. "Mr. Williams?" Jake called out. "It's Jake. I brought your pizza. I said leave it at the door." Jake's old alarm system kicked in. There was fear in the voice tone, coercion. This wasn't Mr. Williams's normal voice. Jake put the pizza down, but didn't leave. His old training was active. Recon, assess, act. He moved around the house systematically, staying in the shadows, checking sight lines and potential entry points. Every window, every door, every possible escape route. His mind cataloged them automatically. Through the back window, what he saw made his blood run cold. In the living room, the Williams family was sitting on the floor, hands zip-tied behind their backs, duct tape over their mouths. 2 masked men in dark clothing were watching them, one holding a pistol, the other an assault rifle. The children's eyes were wide with terror. Jake's pulse quickened, but his mind shifted into combat mode. Even after 12 years, his training was razor-sharp. Situational assessment complete. 2 armed hostiles, superior firepower, 4 civilians including children, tactical disadvantage, element of surprise available. He quietly returned to his car and retrieved his survival kit from the trunk, something he'd kept, just in case, but never expected to use. Inside were tactical gloves, a flashlight, multi-tool, and a small combat knife. He also grabbed his cell phone and called 911. 911, emergency. Hostage situation in progress, Jake whispered. 47 Maple Street, Williams family. 2 armed suspects, military-style weapons, 4 hostages including children. Who's calling? Jake Morrison, pizza delivery, former Navy SEAL, Team 6. I have visual on the situation. Officers are en route. Estimated arrival 8 minutes. Do not engage. But Jake couldn't wait. Tommy and Emma were inside, terrified children who smiled and waved at him every week. These weren't just customers. They were neighbors, friends. Jake moved to the back of the house, staying low and using landscaping for cover. The back door was locked, but the bathroom window was slightly open, a rookie mistake by the hostage takers. He silently removed the screen and slipped inside, his movements as fluid and silent as they'd been in Kandahar 12 years ago. From the bathroom, he could hear muffled voices in the living room. "How much longer?" one man was asking. "This is taking too long. Boss said wait for the call, then we finish this." Jake's blood went cold. This wasn't just a robbery. They were planning to kill the family. He moved through the hallway like a ghost, every footstep carefully placed, every breath controlled. The first hostile was positioned near the front window, assault rifle in hand, occasionally glancing outside for police. His back was to the hallway. Jake approached from behind, measuring each step. In one fluid motion, he wrapped his arm around the man's throat in a blood choke, while simultaneously controlling the rifle with his other hand. The man struggled for exactly 7 seconds before going limp. Jake caught both the man and his weapon, lowering them silently to the floor. The second hostile, holding the pistol, was focused on the family and hadn't noticed his partner's disappearance. But he was positioned in the center of the room with clear sight lines in all directions. This would require a different approach. Jake studied the layout. The man was standing next to a heavy wooden coffee table. Jake picked up a small decorative item from a hallway table and threw it into the kitchen, creating a subtle noise. "What was that?" the second man said, turning toward the sound. That was Jake's window. He moved with explosive speed, vaulting over the couch and tackling the man from the side. They hit the ground hard, Jake immediately controlling the gun hand while driving his knee into the man's solar plexus. The hostile gasped and tried to fight back, but 12 years of civilian life hadn't dulled Jake's muscle memory. Within seconds, the second threat was neutralized. Jake quickly cut the zip ties with his knife and removed the duct tape from the family's mouths. "I'm Jake, pizza delivery," he said calmly as if nothing extraordinary had happened. "You're safe now." Mr. Williams stared in shock. "Jake, how did you? What just happened?" "Long story," Jake said, helping them to their feet and checking each family member for injuries. "What matters is you're all okay." Little Tommy, still shaking, looked up at Jake with amazement. "Jake, are you a superhero?" Jake knelt down to the boy's level. "No, buddy, I'm just your pizza guy. But sometimes pizza guys have to protect their customers." Police sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Jake secured both weapons and zip-tied the unconscious hostiles with materials from his kit. When the officers burst through the front door 3 minutes later, they found Jake sitting calmly with the Williams family, the situation completely under control. The FBI agent who arrived shortly after looked at Jake with a mixture of suspicion and respect. "Petty Officer Morrison, Team 6? "Yes, sir." "Retired. Hell of a thing you did here. Why pizza delivery?" Jake looked at the Williams family, who were being checked by paramedics but were physically unharmed. "Because I still want to serve people, just in a different way." The next day, local news covered the story briefly. Pizza delivery worker stops home invasion. Jake's military background wasn't mentioned, keeping his identity protected. When Jake returned to work, Mario and his coworkers looked at him with new respect, though they didn't know the full story. "You okay, Jake?" Mario asked. "I heard you helped some customers last night." "Just did what anyone would do," Jake replied, putting on his delivery uniform. "Ready for tonight's orders?" That evening, the Williams family placed a special order. When Jake arrived, they were all waiting at the door. "Jake," Emma said, hugging his legs. "You're our hero." Jake smiled. "I'm just your pizza guy, Emma. But taking care of customers is part of the job." That night, Jake opened his locked room and looked at his old Navy SEAL photographs. For 12 years, he'd tried to leave that life behind, but he realized something important. He'd never stopped being a protector. He'd just found a new way to serve. Jake Morrison represents thousands of service workers who once served in different ways. They're still serving, just differently now. Do you know people like Jake? Show them respect. Notice them. Because sometimes the most ordinary jobs are done by the most extraordinary people. If this story touched you, please share it. Don't forget service heroes like Jake who serve us quietly every day.